over 90% of children, by the time they reach the age of 10 years old, have been exposed to porn because of all the tablets they watching. And what makes it worse is because TV, commercials, movies, cartoons are so sexualized now, they don't even gotta be looking at hard porn to be watching porn. You get the 5 and 6 year olds, they seeing porn, SpongeBob. You see it all the time. Because we're over-sexualized as a nation. So they're grooming the kids. So it's no wonder when you see the kids killing up each other, or you see you an old man and you chasing woman, and you say, this man, I mean, he got a good career, he seemed to have sense, but he's an old fool. Why is he chasing women? Because you were groomed, and Jezebel is grooming you. But what I'm trying to tell you is, the least of these, that's porn, that seem like it ain't dangerous, I'm minding my own business, it keeping me from cheating, you're a fool. A lot of people say that, oh, I watch porn so that I don't go and commit adultery. You a fool. I'm sorry. Only a fool would say something like that. You sitting down with demons, you opening up that door, and then when you have a son, and he get a broke wrist, and he talking like a little girl, and you don't know why. Because you allowed Jezebel into your house. The corporation may bless us, guys, protect us. Please help us to be watchful, dear Heavenly Father. Please help us to understand that the devil roams this earth like a roaring lion, seeking whom he can devour. And the people that he can devour is the people watching porn. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Expressed on this program are not the views of ZNS TV 13 and, by extension, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the weekend edition. A double shooting kills a father and injures a daughter. A traffic fatality in Eleuthera. A visitor marks the Bahamas as his 193rd country. And in sports, junior sailing nationals wrap up. The Bahamas tonight, the weekend edition, starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jimenita Swain, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for tuning in. The quiet that preceded a halt in a number of homicides here in the capital was shattered Sunday morning after 2 people were shot. A father taking his daughter to church was gunned down, the incident leaving 1 dead and another hospitalized. The move drawing this response from Police Press Liaison Officer Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings.
It's a morning when I'm truly disgusted by the actions of our young men in this country.
Police Press Liaison Officer Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings on the actions of 2 unknown assailants that shot 2 people at Wilson Track and Cordo Avenue.
It was shortly after 7 a.m. when a male came to collect his 16-year-old daughter from a residence here on Wilson Track. He came and collected his daughter to take her to church. As he pulled off from the residence, a small silver vehicle pulled alongside. 2 males exited that vehicle, opened fire on the truck, which resulted in a male who's 35 years of age and his 16-year-old daughter being shot.
Skipping said the father died on scene and the teen girl was taken to hospital where at present her condition up to airtime is unknown. And as this investigation now in the preliminary phases unfolds, Skippings with this warning.
Parents, family members, girlfriends, godfathers, don't allow the blood to be on your hands. You need to come and provide us with the intel so that we can remove those 2 individuals from our streets. There are different ways to solve conflicts, I've said it repeatedly, young men in particular, comes to a point now where whatever differences you have, innocent people are now becoming involved. It needs to stop.
Officers spent much of the morning carefully processing the crime scene. This latest shooting follows that of a 15-year-old teen boy on February 19th at First Street, The Grove. Police continuing to remind the public if they see something to say something. And Skippings was adamant.
And parents, I'm calling on you. Someone saw those two young men when they arrived home after leaving this scene with blood on their hands. Someone saw them. It's your responsibility to come forward and provide us with the intel.
Resolving conflicts peacefully is a message police hope takes roots in the minds of young men in particular in light of this latest homicide. Second officer in charge of the Grove Police Station, Superintendent Keith Ferguson, says a number of crime initiatives take place in that community.
We have mobile patrols. We also have walkabouts within the community. No longer than yesterday, 240 Street. You know, it saddened me to know that last week, Monday, we had the 15-year-old was shot and killed. We had a prayer and walkabout in conjunction with Highway Church of God, the South Central Division, along with the community policing section of the Robb Police Force. It's very, very successful, but it's a team effort.
He too calls for a collaborative approach in tackling crime.
The criminals working together every day. We as a community needs to work together. It starts with the family, okay? And by extension, the churches, the different civic organizations, we need to come together to fight this monster called crime.
Today's slaying increasing the country's homicide count to 27. And Bahamas Christian Council President Delton Fernando admits that both the church and the public bear an equal responsibility in reducing crime.
In our conversation with the gang leaders, it was something that was brought forth that if I change my life, I might be a target, I might be someone that people take out because they quote-unquote think I'm light or I'm not on my game. We acknowledge that, we are concerned about that, and we're trying to find parts of even moving them out of these environments. I think we make a mistake when we think it's going to happen just by one event. It's a multifaceted problem that requires all stakeholders to get involved. We've got to be creative. We've got to fight crime in the way we see crime today, and we got to do it as a system. It's a system-wide problem that our society has to own. That is the Bahamas, and each place in our society must work together to fix it.
Police also investigating a fatal crash on the island of Eleuthera that has resulted in the death of a 39-year-old man. The incident occurred shortly after 7 this morning on Queens Highway in the area of Hatchet Bay. Initial reports indicate that the male operator of a white and black 650 Suzuki Dual Sport motorcycle reportedly lost control while traveling north on Queens Highway and was subsequently thrown from the motorcycle, sustaining head trauma. Responding officers upon arrival at the location found him in nearby bushes unresponsive. The local doctor and medical team on the island visited the scene, examined the victim, and pronounced him dead. The serious accident reconstruction team from the Traffic Division in New Providence will be conducting investigations into this incident. Police continue to encourage all motorcyclists to wear protective helmets when operating any motorized cycle to save their lives. Still to come, a Bahamian pens a new book on gender inequality. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. More news in a moment.
This facility that I'm in is called a chick-in. Can you guess why? Well, we're on Grand Bahama Island, and we're exploring a family-owned farm that is growing at a very fast pace. I'm Leah Cooper, and this is Good to Grow.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow.
Meet Terrence Roberts, the farm's managing director. He explains that the farm came about following an epiphany back in 2019.
I had an injury, and around that time, God just showed me the direction he wanted me to go in. And I went on a trip with my father for his birthday the same time, 5 years ago now. And we went to Exuma, and right off of Great Exuma is a small key called Stalking Island. And we have an uncle there, Kenneth Bow, who owns a restaurant and bar, Chat and Chill. And every Sunday he does a pig roast experience. So, we spend the weekend there with him, and leading up to his pig roast, he had, he stopped by his farm. So as he's explaining his process, it just started to make economical sense because, if he's able to supply his own demand for what he does at his restaurant, I just imagine what could we do here in Grand Bahama.
Now, the farm is named after an English breed of pig called the Berkshire that's highly regarded for being juicy, tender, and flavorful, which is heavily marbled with fat.
They have the highest quality pork. So if you know beef or steak, you would know that the Kobe or the Wagyu would have the highest quality based on the marbling. So when it comes to pork, the Berkshire breed has the highest quality.
After a few setbacks like Hurricane Dorian in 2019 and the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, Berkshire Farms was still able to grow and prosper. And just last year, the farm began expanding once again with a chicken coop. The Chick Inn, as he describes it, brings in a considerable amount of business for the farm, according to Roberts, with the coop bringing in hundreds of eggs on a daily basis and supplying mainly restaurants. With sustainability being at the forefront of the farm's practices, Roberts explains the benefits of uncleaned eggs.
Sometimes we have eggs, so something like this would be recently laid, so you see the little spots on it that are starting to dry. That's the bloom. So the hen would leave a bloom as a protective sealing or coat that protects the inside. So on the shell, she would leave a bloom because, as we know, that's part of the reproductive cycle. So if you want the eggs to hatch into chicks, in order for it to grow and develop on the inside, it has to be protected on the outside. So it keeps all the germs, bacteria, and whatever other contaminants out. So eggshells are very porous. So with the bloom on, you can keep your eggs at room temperature on your counter, and they'll last up to 2 weeks fresh. And then you can put it in the refrigerator the same way, unwashed, and it can last up to 5 months. But if you wash it, it's more susceptible to bacteria or contamination.
But for those who prefer their eggs cleaned, he demonstrates how that's done.
Just go ahead and grab the egg. The shells are pretty solid because they get access to lots of calcium, but you don't want to press on them too hard. And also, when you package, you want to package them point side down.
The farm also features an impressive hydroponic farm where residents can come and choose their leafy greens for purchase. And since winning the Agrarian Award for Male Farmer of the Year, he's now working on a unique farm-to-table experience, which is set to be up and running very soon. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
In the Yellow Elder Garden, Allie and her cousins listened to Grammy share tales. The 70s so sweet, with themed costumes and dancing feet. Then came the brass, reaching new heights. A symphony of Bahamian nights. The 2000s, the Yellow Elder, a symbol of pride. Grammy's legacy in view as Allie dances in her Yellow Elder costume. We are alive.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Thanks for staying with us. A leading financial analyst and Chief Executive Officer of Fidelity Bank, Gowan Bow, commending Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis for his recent mid-year budget communication. During that communication, the Prime Minister introduced significant measures at ensuring multinational enterprises operating within the Bahamas pay their fair share of taxes. Bo is now calling on the government to introduce a more progressive tax structure and explore other income measures. He says that would bode well for the local economy and its citizens.
When we look at our current tax system, as you know, you and I have spoken on this before, I'm in favor of personal income tax. I'm in favor of a tax system that taxes you based on your ability to pay, not on what you consume, which is our current system. So I certainly am in favor of the first step, which is looking at large international companies that may not have been contributing anywhere near their fair share relative to the profits they earn by being based in the country. I believe that the existing business license fee structure is actually regressive and more detrimental to businesses than an income tax.
In other news tonight, making his second official visit to the Bahamas, this time for an induction ceremony, the Archbishop of the Greek Orthodox Church of America visiting Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis. The Archbishop and the Prime Minister exchanged gifts and discussed the effects of climate change. As a result, the Greek Orthodox community will begin their annual Epiphany service in January 2025, blessing the waters of the Bahamas. And the Prime Minister has been invited to take part.
He promised that he will do his best to attend. We all know his ecological interests, and he's so sensitive to the environment. The same are we. The leader of our church, who is our patriarch, is called for this initiative, that for his sensitivity for the environment, is called the Green Patriarch. So the blessing of this water and the ocean is part of blessing of nature and respect for the nature.
Bahamian author and professor emerita at Penn State University, Dr. Juliet Storr, pens a new 300-page book that examines the hot-button issue of gender inequality in the Bahamas. Using the backdrop of the 2016 gender referendum, Dr. Storr says many of the inequities and discrimination against women now impacting our society today could be traced to our colonial past.
We still have this idea that the man is the head of the house, where in this country, the majority of the head of the home are women. We have more than 60% of our population with single-headed families by women. So where is the man in that scenario? We have children that we have in these families that are male, and there's still a deference to the male child in terms of chores, in terms of expectations, in terms of roles. We still teach our daughters and our sons things that are very stereotypically masculine and feminine. And in doing that, what you're setting up is an imbalance of power because we always defer to the male.
While some progress has been made in the advancement of the women's rights in the country, Professor Storr feels the country has a long way to go towards equality for women. She's now making this appeal.
We have to transform our societies. We have to be willing to sacrifice and make those changes, to want to change the way we talk to each other. What do we expect from men and women in today's society? What roles and what expectations really do fit 21st century living? What laws really fit 21st century living? If most of our homes are headed by women, then the law should change to represent more fairness to all, but particularly women who are carrying a double burden of caretaking and being providers. And when you have that double burden, that brings on in with it a lot of challenges for women.
And imagine making the Bahamas the final country you ticked off your travel list, celebrating it with friends. Well, visitor Christian Fleischer did just that, leaving the capital today after a few days of exploring.
Bahamas is special to me. This is 193, which is the last country in the world for me to visit that's counted by the UN-recognized nations. There's 193, and this is the last one.
Christian Fleischer is an aviation consultant from Seattle, Washington, who enjoys traveling the world. And what better way to wrap up that whirlwind travel than with a stop in Nassau?
One day I added them up, and I had been to just over 100 countries, and thought, well, 100's more than halfway there. Not too hard. Maybe I'll try to do a few more. And then eventually it became kind of a bit of a hobby to say, you know, I am going to do this and make it a proper trip, and decided to save the Bahamas as the last one.
We caught up with the world traveler and a few friends outside of a local West Bay Street eatery. And this trip also coincided with Christian's birthday, which he celebrated on Friday.
I had 15 friends come from all around the world, and that was really the fun part for me. I had friends from Germany, from Russia, from Amsterdam, and from various parts of the United States. We got an Airbnb up the road and had a big house and just had a nice party.
As for what else he did while here,
I always like to go somewhere where the locals recommend rather than just the touristy things. The pigs was interesting. It was a nice bucket item to tick off the list. I really enjoyed driving the boat to get over to the pigs. That was probably the best part. And we did a boozy rum tour where there were 7 of us in a bus with 2 other strange couples. Of course, we all became friends within about an hour after all the rum punch. And that was really enjoyable.
Jeff Kemper made the trip from Germany. It was his first time in the Bahamas as well.
Really exciting to do this because Chris and I have traveled a lot together over the years. We've probably been to like 30 or 40 countries together traveling. So to be here for this special occasion was really important to me, and I'm really glad to have been here for it.
Now, while Christian ticked off 193 countries, he says he will definitely be back to do more exploring in the Bahamas.
In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
You watch them grow and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before teens get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Sunday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports after 3 days of intense competition on the waters at Montague Bay. The Sir Durward Knowles Jr. National Sailing Championships wrapping up. Winning the overall E-Class National Championship would be Lady Kayla, skippered by one of Sir Durward's great-grandsons in Joss Knowles, as well as Keanu Hutchinson from the Exuma Sailing Club. Knowles will also take first place in the Sunfish Division. Over in Lasers, the top spot will go to Norman Cartwright from Bahamas National
National Sailing School. For the Opti Championship fleet, Finley McKinney Lambert would win that, sailing out of the Eleuthera Sailing Academy. For the Opti Green Fleet, first place there would go to Edward Knowles Jr. from the Mac Knowles Sailing Club on Long Island. On hand to present the sailors with their awards, as well as offer some words of encouragement, was the nation's chief, Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis.
Young sailors, I'm told, who struck Montague Bay this weekend like a bolt of lightning. Last year, when my administration officially declared sloop sailing the national sport of the Bahamas, we did so with a profound respect for the historical, economic, and cultural significance of maritime navigation across these islands. It is such a joy to see our young people carrying the torch, passed on through the spirit and passion of Sir Dewitt's legacy and love for sailing.
In just roughly 30 minutes or so, the Bahamas men's national basketball team set to take the hardwood over at the Kendall G. Lazick Gymnasium for the final of 2 games in this window of the FIBA America qualifiers versus Puerto Rico. Team Bahamas with one of its best performances on Thursday, knocking off Puerto Rico 88-77 at the Roberto Clemente Gymnasium in Puerto Rico. Dominic Bridgewater was the top scorer with 20 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals. Kai Jones contributed with 13 points and 7 rebounds as well. So you definitely want to make your way on out to the Kendall G. Lazick Gymnasium to support Team Bahamas. In track and field news, a banner Saturday afternoon for Bahamian collegiate sprint sensation Wanye McCoy as he would pick up 3 medals at the SEC Indoors, 1 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze. McCoy's gold medal finish came in the men's 200 meters, where the sophomore set a new personal best, obtained the collegiate lead, and bettered his already standing Bahamian national record with a time of 20.29 seconds. This mark ties McCoy with Ja'Cory Patterson for number 3 all-time on his school's list. McCoy would add a silver medal in the men's 60 meters and a bronze medal in the men's 4x4 relay as well. And that's my look at your sports on this Sunday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Here at Immigration Care Service, you can trust us, especially if you have experienced issues or problems with the U.S. immigration at the borders. We'll do our best to provide options and solutions to immigration roadblocks so travelers can continue visiting the U.S. and residents can continue living their lives in the U.S. without worries. The best part? Our services are affordable and accessible. Take the mystery, confusion, and fear out of your immigration concerns. Contact Immigration Care Service today.
For every shape-up, after-school activity, unplanned home repair, and other day-to-day spending, there's SandDollar. SandDollar is a convenient way to send and receive money instantly. SandDollar is easy to use. It's safe and secure. Just like physical cash, SandDollar is issued by the Central Bank of the Bahamas. And best of all, there are no fees for individuals to send or receive funds. Download a SandDollar-enabled digital wallet and enjoy the benefits of the digital Bahamian dollar. Spend it locally. Transfer it to and from a local bank account or convert it to and from physical cash. Learn more at www.sanddollar.bs.
It's time now for a check on tonight's weather forecast. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us in studio with the latest temperatures. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Jimenita. We have near clear skies with just a few clouds floating around. Temperature at 76 degrees. Relative humidity very dry at 38%. We have northwest winds at 3 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,020.7 millibars. That's 30.14 inches. And your temperatures around the Five Islands this evening, picking up some 71s in Marsh, Abaco, Greentown, Key, and Freeport, Grand Bahama. The Berry Islands at 74. Alisan, Bimini, 70 degrees, 74 in Harbour Island and Roxanne, Eleuthera. Fresh Creek, Central Andros at 76. Kemps Bay, South Andros, 75. Also in Black Point, Exuma, 75. 74 in Artisan, Cat Island. San Salvador and Rumkey at 74 degrees. Georgetown, Exuma 75. We're picking up some more 75s in Ragged Island, Clarence, Sound Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay make one of 76, 76 in Acklands, Matchy-Tiny Nagwood 75. Turks and Caicos Island is pretty warm at 79 degrees. And your Bodie forecast tonight, northerly winds in the northwest Bahamas at 10 to 15 knots. They will be falling light and variable at times. The wave heights are 2 to 4 feet. Now the high tide, that will take place at 8:37 tonight in the central and southeastern islands. The wind's a little stronger, north to northeast at 12 to 18 knots. The wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So we will maintain the caution flags for the central and southeastern islands tonight. And then tomorrow, in the northwest and central islands, we have a northeast to east component at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. The high tide tomorrow, 8:52 in the morning with the low tide at 3:10 in the afternoon. For the southeast Bahamas, northeasterly winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. So we're asking boaters in the southeast Bahamas to continue to exercise caution. Satellite pictures showing that frontal boundary now exiting the southeast Bahamas, pretty much over the Turks and Caicos Islands. So they'll have some cloud cover there tonight, but things should be improving tomorrow. Behind that, mostly clear skies for the remainder of the northwest and central parts of the country, with partly cloudy skies tonight. 64 degrees will be your low temperature, and tomorrow mostly sunny, very nice, 74 for your high. Extended weather forecast, we'll have some beautiful weather right through Thursday. Temperatures warming up, getting up in the upper 70s by the middle of the week. Those nighttime temperatures today will stay in the 60s until Thursday. Come Friday, we'll see temperatures in the 70s during the nighttime. And then we have some cloud cover developing on Friday. A few showers working their way into the forecast on Saturday, becoming more scattered to numerous on Sunday with some thunderstorms in the mix as well. That will pave the way for yet another frontal system. Timonita?
Thanks, Basil. Finally tonight, immediate response with Spence Finlayson hitting the road once again starting tomorrow morning. They will be live on the ZNS network from across the pond. Our Devontae Hanna is a part of the team and joins us with a preview.
Well, good evening. We are in beautiful London, England, and I can tell you for the next 2 days, we're going to be showing you the sights and the sounds from this beautiful city that seems to never sleep. Right now, we're in Piccadilly Square, and tomorrow and on Tuesday, you'll get a full sneak peek at what's behind me, as well as all of the historic attributes here from London, England, as well as some pretty special behemoths that are doing amazing things. All in immediate response tomorrow at 10 to 12, and then of course a full report in the Bahamas Tonight in News on Monday and Tuesday. So reporting from London, England, I'm Devontae Hanna. Back to you.
Thanks, Devontae, and that will end the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network, as only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team, thanks for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
In this 21st century, a resonant voice cries